Hello everyone, welcome back to another 3 Minutes at 3.
Today's topic is, should you sell on Etsy if you do shows?
So this is kind of a tricky topic. This is really based upon your own workflow. Okay, so if you feel that you can handle an online store and that you can handle doing shows all the time, keeping product in the shop for that, it is a really good way of increasing your income. Shows are temporary. And so I would highly suggest that you find an online presence, whether that be on Etsy or your website or whatever, and that you recommend to people there.
Yes, in fact, we did craft shows before we ever got online on Etsy, and we had multiple other craft show vendors tell us, you need to sell your wares on Etsy. You'll get more exposure that way.
We had a bunch tell us before we ever started an account.
Before it finally got through our thick heads.
Yeah.
So an additional benefit to selling on Etsy if you're already doing craft shows is that if you have a customer walk through your booth and they're interested, perhaps they don't have the money on them that day, or, they seem interested but they don't purchase anything. If you have a business card with your Etsy shop on it, then they can purchase that item, the next day or whenever they're ready to, and still be able to get it.
Yeah, and it's a great way, it literally is. It's a great landing spot. You don't have to be a website builder. You don't have to understand all the great things about Photoshop and, figuring out, the way to make listings look and things like that. We've got tons of help on the channel for Etsy tutorials and things like that. And it's just a really great way, if you're not too tech savvy, to take and get into it and have a place to take and show somebody. That being said, again, craft shows, street fairs, summer fests, things like that, they're all temporary things. And they're kind of a one-shot gig. You got to drag all your items to them, things like that. And the logistics of that. As where if you're selling on Etsy, it can be stowed, it can be packed away nicely. When it sells, it just goes out the door to the shipping. And, not much else said and worried about. And so, yes, I highly personally recommend that you do both. That you sell on Etsy and at shows if you can. And once you get to the point, you may just find that Etsy or your website does better for you than shows. And you can stop going to them altogether.
Yes. And one other thing I'd like to point out about the Etsy is that depending on the type of items you make will depend a little bit on how you run your Etsy store. So if you make items that you do reproducible, like you do one style of bottle openers, one style of meat skewers, and you reproduce those a lot, your listings can stay up continuously. If you make one-off items, once that item sells, you will need to remove it immediately. That way you don't accidentally double sell and have to cancel the order.
Yeah, and that's a great bit of advice. So, well, that does it for this 3 Minutes at 3. We thank you all for watching.
Thank you for joining us.
And like always, God bless you.
And we'll catch you on the next one.